Somebody thought they was slick putting out info a day before the big talk. And you know I was going to make sure that I was going to be on that head. Pause. Cut it out. Don't do that. We're going to get into this topic. This is the biggest topic that I think you really, really didn't hear the truth about. Let's get into this. Peace and blessings, and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And I'm sitting here with my tower of incredible hawks, well, gladiator hawks. The Green Scar, if you will. Queen Studios, XM, Sideshow, Bowen, Iron Studios, and I got another Sideshow behind me. Yeah. For the members, that video goes up tomorrow when we talk all about that. But I'm glad that y'all came back. And we had a crazy week last week. Remember with all the speculation about what was going on with Xbox, and everybody was in Xbox DMs like, what's going on, boo-boo? What's happening? Are we still an item? Am I going to still be around? How's my digital library doing? Well, right before that day, Sony CFO put out the information. Slid it to you. Looked and saw what was really going on. Now, remember early on, and this is going to tie into what I'm talking about. Remember early on, I told y'all when Sony was putting the PlayStation Portal and the PlayStation VR 2 and counting that as console sales, and dudes was trying to figure out, yo, King, why the hell they doing that? And I'm like, they're trying to boost numbers. You know, so when they go back to the analysts, they can say, you know, well, the shareholders, they can say, yo, we sold X amount of consoles. They ain't never really sell X amount of consoles. And let me get into the crux why. And I know you saying, yo, King, why is this being brought up? Well, apparently Sony has lost $10 billion the last fiscal period on messed up projections. I told y'all those projections were never realistic, right? 25 million by this fiscal period, by this time at the end of the year. Even everybody that was, you know, investing in it was like, nah. Remember when I told y'all back in January that investment firm out in Japan was like, that's not a good option, and I gave y'all the reasons why. Well, this is how this ties is all into that. They missed their projection by 7 million. Everybody's saying 4 million. No, you missed your projection by 7 million because you have to take an account of those portals and that PlayStation VR. Now you're saying they having record sales in software and they having record sales in services. That's not true. That is all tied to subscription bonuses, promotions, and sales when games are below sale price, right? So what they would do is the PlayStation fan is the cheap fan, right? So these port begging ponies do this. They wait until the game is on sale and then they go out and buy. But remember when Phil Dominus Maximus Aurelius Spencer, first of his name, told you there's different ways for you to interact with your base, and as far as monetizing them, you can keep squeezing them, making remakes and remasters of the same old games, or you can go in a different direction and place your games on other places that doesn't, this is how you grow the base, that doesn't have access to your product, and that way you grow a larger base, and then you can just, you know, put more stuff into your base and then grow sales from there, right? Okay. What Sony decided to do was continue their war garden, right? You could tell that with Helldivers. Helldivers launched on PC and launched on PlayStation. Didn't launch on Xbox, didn't launch on Nintendo. What they did was they segmented that community. We could tell by the sales being sold, majority of the people who's on Steam is playing, opposed to the people that's on PlayStation that's playing. And that's a key factor because the numbers tell you that the PlayStation player doesn't buy games. The majority of the money that goes to Sony is from purchases of games, not hardware sales. The reason why hardware sales, they don't get too much back because the cost of chipsets actually has risen, right? So the production cost has gone up and they lowered the price on their consoles. So they're not making too much off of the console. This is where the loss come in. You don't reach your goal. You don't make a lot off of the consoles and your software isn't selling. This is the problem, and this is how Kong dies. Kong will die. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we do it over here. We will keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. There's no getting out of this. I told you. And I know a lot of you dudes is going to be like, yo, King, you're a prophet. No. I follow what goes on in the stock market. Oh, King, you shouldn't play stock market. You should play games. Well, with the poor begging ponies putting up numbers, we sold X amount of consoles. This X amount of console sale thing doesn't work for you right now. $10 billion got wiped off the books. You cannot actually put out games this year. Why? The CFO told you no games this year. No first party games this year. Why isn't that being talked about? If Microsoft came out and told you there was no first party games coming out this year, you guys will lose it. But see, I made enough of the stinks on Iron Lord's podcast that now people have to really take heed and look. You have to look. If you're a hardware developer and a software developer, you are the manufacturer. And you're putting out no first-party titles for your console, that is concerning and alarming. That makes you say, what's going on over there? That leads me to believe that there's no PlayStation 6. If they release the PlayStation Pro, what do you think that does? You think that ignites sales? Or what they do is they return their original PlayStation back to the store to get some credit, take some money off, get the sale off of that console. You didn't grow the base, right? So that same, what they have, probably they have 35 million PlayStations out in the wild. They're yelling out 50, but that's not a real number. Maybe they have 35, maybe they have close to 40 out in the wild. And what you do, you say half of those people are going to stick with the original PlayStation 5 or the Slim. Because you just dropped that Slim thing. All right, they're going to stay with the Slim. They're going to stay with the PlayStation 5. Then you say the other half trade their console in and they get a PlayStation 5 Pro. Now you have aftermarket sales that's there. Those aftermarket sales don't go in Sony pocket. They're going GameStop's pocket or whatever pawn shop's pocket. You get a new subscriber to your service, maybe. Or maybe they just buy a game, or maybe they play free to games like Fortnite and stuff like that. You see, this is the problem that Sony has being partial third party. They're a third party publisher, being partial third party. This is where the port begging comes in. See, the true Sony fan, the hardcore Sony fan knows how bad they need Microsoft games. They'll never tell you, this is what we need. This is what we want. They will always make you believe that the Xbox is inferior. When Matt Booty, the shooter, came out and told you that they're going to have 10 games, first party games launching this year. They showed you 4, then there's 6 more showing up. So who's in control? Is it Kong that's on life support, that is praying that he can get to next year? And do you put out a Wolverine in the first part of the year, or do you put the Wolverine out at the second part of the year? So are you dry all the rest of this year and half of next year? Is this the actual end of Sony? is Sony looking at the proverbial 8-ball and about to be knocked in the corner pocket? Or is Microsoft the savior yet again for another billion-dollar company who's in distress? I think there's enough people in that building that want Kong dead as much as I do. I think there's enough people in that building that will make sure that Kong does not survive this. You got the champ on the ropes. We're going to knock you out. We're going to send you back to the software developer from whence you came. Shout out to Hiroki Totoki, the CFO, who is now the head dude in charge over at the PlayStation Nation. That guy is going to facilitate you going everywhere. He said he wants those games on every screen. You think that he's being nice and doesn't want games on Xbox? That's an untapped market. Watch when he gets those fiscals back from MLB The Show launching in Game Pass to the Game Pass subscriber. Watch when he get those fiscals. Does those fiscals tell you that MLB The Show is making bank over there? And being that he is the analyst, the top moneymaker, the financial guy, the chief financial officer, being that he's the chief financial officer and he see this money coming in from over there, you don't think he's going to go back over there and say, let's make this happen? $10 billion wiped off the books. A lot of dudes are not getting vacations this year. There's no bonuses going around. This is the time for you to be afraid. So you port begging ponies, y'all hoping and wishing for those 4 games, we're going to starve you out till the end of the year. Hashtag no PlayStation 6. You know how we do it over here. Like, follow, and subscribe. Come back to this channel. Xbox Frontline News, where Xbox did their thing last week, and y'all thought y'all was going to slide this under the door. And I wasn't going to catch it. Nah. You got to be quicker than this. This is the part where you drop that logo. You drop that catchphrase. And you say, try to play the Game Pass.